بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين لم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون
Assalamu alaikum everybody. My name is Adina Sansi and today I'm here to share about Imam Ali's story, our first Imam in the Battle of Khaybar. So this is what happened. So there are the enemies are on this side of this gigantic crevice, and then the good guys are on this side. But this guy is the only bad guy that was like on this side. So this guy took his sword and hit the Imam's hand so hard that he dropped his shield on the ground, and then this person stole it and was running, and this is the rate of Khaybar, and our Imam lifted it with one hand and use it as a shield against the enemies who are coming to attack him. And then he turned and he was fighting. This person is sneaking up from the back, and then this person runs into him, and then he falls down. But our Imam uses the Layth of Khaybar as a shield against all the enemies so they can't get through. And then later on, there is this crevice that these bad guys know how to get around it and sneak through it, but our Imam and his companions did not. And then he took the gate of Khaybar, and this thing was made of stone and iron. 40 people could not carry this. 40, and the Imam himself could carry this. And then he laid it down and used it as a bridge for he and his companions to follow on it and get over the crevice. And then they got over here. And then after that, he lifted the gates of Khaybar and threw it 40 feet away. 40 feet. And that is the end. And since our Imam was strong, and our fathers and dads out there are strong, I wanted to say Happy Father's Day to everybody. Kul Hafiz.
and I share with you the story with you. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعزائي, dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. To start with, I would like to thank Dr. Subhani, Muhammad Subhani, for allowing me this opportunity to share my thoughts or my search about our beloved Imam Ali, in this occasion. And Muhammad, you have touched our life, my family, my kids, in a very positive way that it's unimaginable. Thank you for the time we spent together at work. And by the way, his desk was right in front of my desk. So, so we saw each other 8 hours a day. What I would like to share with you, and it's hard to compete with all the props from the kids. So I gotta come up with something different. So what I thought I will do, I will just have a PowerPoint presentation to guide me, and not only this, to leave it, whoever is interested, to really look at it later on and review it or review some of the points. Definitely, I'm not going to be able to go through it all, so I will touch on some key points. But what I wanted to do also, but let me show you the content in here, and I'll come back to it back and forth. But of course, the kids, they have done a marvelous job talking about the birth and the early life. I'll touch on Mubahala and Ghadir home, and I will talk about the different stages of Imam Ali alayhi salam. It seems like you can put them in 10 years interval or increment. I will look at his final years, but most probably I would like to emphasize or to put more emphasis on the descendant of Imam Ali, the scholarly works. Everybody will look at Imam Ali and in relationship to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to Ahlul Bayt, but they tend to forget how much contribution he had left us with. His legacy, it's immense, and I'll touch on those, the different books that he had left and different sermons that he had left. And not only this, I don't want to just. What I try to do in here also to see how Imam Ali alayhi salam has been viewed, not only from the Shia. There are other group, our brothers, the Sunni, there are the Sufi, there are the Alawi. They look at Imam Ali and they revere Imam Ali in many different ways. Similar to what we do, they even exaggerate a little bit more than we do. It will be an interesting, just for the sake of completeness, to look at how other people will look at him. And before I finish, as Brother Muhammad had mentioned, I come from the south of Lebanon. And to be very specific, it's somewhere right here. In a village called Aramta. It's like 1,200 meters above sea level, and snow year long. And the reason most of the Shia, they live in the south and in the mountains. You see the different colors in here represent the density of the population of the Shia. And throughout their history, they were persecuted in many different ways. And the only way...
Better not to go far. We have online listeners. Then if you go close,
they don't. Okay, excellent. Yeah.
And next is
This and this. Okay, and this.
no, the other one.
This one. Yeah, okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters. We would like to a little bit quietness. So if you please appreciate really your silence. Thank you.
The reason the Shia, they live in the mountain areas, it was throughout their history they were persecuted by a different group of people, including the Ottoman empires and French mandates. And so what you see in here, the different colors represent the density of the Shia in Lebanon. All in all, you'll be surprised. I mean, the faith that the Shiism and the adherence to Ahl al-Bayt had galvanized this group of people that they amount to only 1,025,000. I mean, there are not that many, 1.5 million at best estimates. But they galvanized them into a community that really changing the face of the whole area in the Middle East. And I'm 72, 73 years old, so I know, if I were called, the old recent history of the Shia in Lebanon. Growing up, we were really poor, ignored people. We were suffering from many, including our own people, especially the landowners. They were just, in many ways, persecuting their own people. But with the event that took place far and near Lebanon had introduced a new generation that really propelled the whole community to be at the forefront of everybody else, not only in Lebanon, in the whole region. And I would like to spend some time later on, but this is not. But the reason I wanted to do this, those that are descendant or the believer of Imam Ali. I know I have a lot of information that I have included in here, but I'll try not to rob anybody from the information, but I'll have to move on. Those are the reference or the sources that I have used. I'm not going to go into details of some of the information that you are very familiar with, but the birth of Imam Ali was on the 13th days of Rajab, and about year 600. And the story goes like the interaction with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was his father and the father of, they were uncles, or they were brothers. And at one time, Abdul Muttalib took the Prophet into his house, and later on, when he was impoverished and couldn't care much for Imam Ali moved to the Prophet's house. Some of the uniqueness of Imam Ali, he, at age 10, according to tradition, he was the second person after Lady Khadija to accept Islam. As I said, the second period of the life of Imam Ali begins in 610. Of course, he was born in the year 600. And in between 610 and 622, when the Prophet moved from Mecca to Medina, and the story is very well known when he slept in the bed of the Prophet when the people of Mecca tried to assassinate the Prophet. Now, when he joined the Prophet in Medina, the Prophet had told Ali that Allah had ordered him to give his daughter Fatima to Ali in marriage. And of course, we all know that they have the daughter Zainab and two sons, Hassan and Hussein. Polygamy was not what was permitted. Polygamy is when man can take many wives. Polygamy is when man and woman can take many spouses. But Imam Ali never got married to any other woman while Sayyidah Fatima or Lady Fatima was alive. But later on, he married many and had many kids. There is, in addition to all this, I did my own for a long time. I've been collecting a lot of hadith about Imam Ali. And Imam Ali, he's a man that transcends all attributes. No matter what you try to name him or call him, he will always transcend those attributes. Here, just on the light side, if you go to Dearborn and you go to Warren Avenue, and there is a huge Shia community in there. All what you have to do and the joke goes, somebody will stand at the top of the street and will say, Ali, everybody in that street will come out, Ahla Sahla, who's calling? So the name is very prevalent and it's very revered. There is no family that doesn't have Ali as a child named in it. So to understand the Imam Ali, I have many ahadith in here that I would like to share with you in addition to all this written bullets in here. But there is one that I would like to emphasize in here. And keep in mind, at the Prophet, وَمَنْ يَنْطِقْ عَنِ الْهَوَى, whatever he says, he means it, and he doesn't say what he doesn't mean. So, for Hadith al-Manzila, one time the Prophet had to leave Medina to go on a conquest and left Ali in charge of the Medina. Some of the people in the city, they started to invent lies about the Imam Ali, saying that the Prophet did not want to take him. So Imam Ali went to the Prophet asking him, what's the reason? So the Prophet said to Imam Ali, return my brother to your place, for Medina cannot be entrusted except to either me or you. For you are my Khalifa in my family, in my place of my migration and among my people. Will it not please you to know that you are to me a rank like Harun was to Moses? people will take it lightly or might take it succinctly, but as I said, the Prophet will not say things if he doesn't mean it. But if you look at Surah Al-A'raf, وقال موسى بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال موسى لأخيه هارون اخلفني في قومي وأصلح ولا تتبع سبيل المفسدين. This is Surah 7, Surah Al-A'raf. And Musa said to his brother Harun, take my place among my people, اخلفني في قومي, act for me among my people and act well and not follow the way of mischief makers. So when the Prophet says to Imam Ali, you are to me like Harun was to Moses. And when Moses tells Harun that take my place, اخلفني في قومي, this is the comparison or the analogy that you'll find in here. This is a clear declaration from the Prophet to the Imam Ali, you are my Khalifa. Anything else, and the Arabs then, they were smart to make two things together, but they purposely ignored this hadith. There is another, well, by the way, this hadith, I found it in a book that I wrote, Kitab A'immatuna, Ali Muhammad Ali Dukhail, min Yanabi' al-Mawadda. There is another hadith where, by the way, this hadith also was written in the book by Kitab al-Imam Ali min al-Mahd ila al-Lahd. From birth to death by the Sayyid Muhammad Qasim Qazwini. All those that are well documented by well-known scholars. Another hadith that was also tried to define the personality of Imam Ali, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Ali bin Abi Talib is the most knowledgeable from among my people and the best to judge among them in what they differ in after me. And the Prophet said also, I am the city of knowledge and Ali is its gate. So whoever wanted to have knowledge, let him get it from Imam Ali. I have in here actually 22 hadith from many scholars that if I can go through it, which I'm not going to, but just I picked a couple of them to drive the point of the importance of Imam Ali. Al-Mubahala. This cannot be ignored and it's well documented. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. تعالوا ندعو أبناءنا وأبناءكم ونساءنا ونساءكم وأنفسنا وأنفسكم ثم نبتهل فنجعل لعنة الله على الكاذبين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. This is a well-documented event when the Christian people came from Najran, south of Saudi Arabia. And when they said, let's bring ندعو أبناءنا وأبناءكم, your sons, our sons, or our kids and your kids, your wives and our wives, yourself and ourself. What did he do? The Prophet. He brought to the Mubahala Imam Ali, Hassan, Hussein, Fatima. So, how could that not be a clear indication in the Quran of the importance or the position of Imam Ali? Ghadir Khan, that's something I have found it also in many of the Sunni hadith in their books, but they tend to put a different twist on it. And it's very known event in the last Hajjatul Wada, when he called the people, "Man kuntu mawlah fahada aliyun mawlah." There is no ambiguity about the position of Imam Ali vis-a-vis the Muslim community. Let me go into, as we are at our when the Prophet died, it's well-known fact that Imam Ali was very busy in preparing the Prophet to be buried, and where other people, including Abu Bakr and Umar, they called for a meeting to find immediately a successor to the Prophet. And everybody knows the game that played, and they ended up putting Abu Bakr in charge as a first successor, and for a flimsy, in my opinion, flimsy reason that he actually led the prayer in the last days of the life of the Prophet, which is very debatable in many cases. Here you go. What I wanted to show you in here, that Imam Ali alayhi salam, he was entrusted to keep the Quran. And I will come to this particular point later on. There is what's called Mus'haf Ali. Imam Ali, he was reading the Quran constantly in front of the Prophet, repeatedly, and he asked him to document it. And this particular parchment was found, it's documented and found in the shrine of Imam Ali in Najaf, Iraq. He actually documented the Quran and presented it to the Khulafa al-Rashidin, and they disagreed with him, and he accepted the Quran, but the way we have it right now, although the position of some of the surah or ayah were different than what he had in mind. But we are very proud to have a Mus'haf Ali but it's very close to what we have right now that we read. This is an event, it's well documented, although some of the other group will try to minimize the impact of it, but it did happen in many resources, and where some of the mob, where Imam Ali would not agree to the Abu Bakr secession or leadership, they ended up sending mobs to Imam Ali house, and according to the Shia narration, that caused the miscarriage of Sayyidah Fatima. And Abu Bakr, he didn't deal well with Imam Ali and Sayyidah Fatima. He deprived them from the inheritance from the Prophet, and he took from them, actually confiscated Fadak and other properties in Medina. The Sunni, they insist that the prophethood would not, we cannot inherit anything from the Prophet, but which is contrary to what we have in the Quran, because Surah Al-Baqarah goes into details about the inheritance, what the girl, what the boy they get. So why would he say the details of this inheritance and then will come up with this flimsy excuse that Prophet will not leave property to their children. This period of the rule of Khalifa Abu Bakr lasted only for 2 years, and Imam Ali, he was in seclusion and did not fight or did not insist on his position. And the Shia sources, they said that Ali pledged to Abu Bakr is a kind of political expediency. After Abu Bakr, as I said, didn't last much than 2 years, and there was another Khilafah by Umar, and it lasted for 10 years. And again in here, Abu Bakr, before he left, he appointed Umar as his successor. Imam Ali actually did not challenge, and he played a major role in advising Abu Bakr and Umar during their time as Khilafah. After there was the third Khalifa, which is Uthman, and in 644, again in here there was another plot that they concocted where they deprived Imam Ali from his rightful position as a successor of the Prophet. And everybody knows Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, that he actually ended up electing his brother-in-law, Uthman. And that was a big mistake, because the Khilafah of Uthman was very turbulent, and he did not act according to the teaching of the Prophet, and there was a lot of corruption. And here I would like to bring one point related to Abu Dharr al-Ghifari. The reason of this, I'll mention it. He was one of the Prophet companion. He was at odds with Uthman. He ended up sending him to Sham. And Muawiyah, when he saw him, and Abu Dharr al-Ghifari, he was very in support of Imam Ali. So you would say he's from Ahlul Bayt, follower of Ahlul Bayt. So even Umar, when Muawiyah, when Abu Dharr al-Ghifari was exiled by Uthman to Sham, he wanted to get rid of him, so he sent him to Jabal Amil in Lebanon. And that was the beginning of the Shi'ism in Lebanon, where there were tribes, there were pre-Islamic era, they called the tribe of Abu Amil and other tribes, and he established the beginning of Shi'ism in the mountain of Jabal Amil. Everybody knows that Imam Ali, he was supportive of Uthman, although he never liked what he was doing, and he protected him. He even sent his son Imam Hassan to protect him from the rebels, and Imam Hassan actually got injured in defending Uthman. After the assassination of Uthman, there was, again in here, other people vying to become the successor or the Khalifa, but Imam Ali was appointed as the fourth Khalifa according to the Sunni sources. Now, his policy, and that's what I wanted to emphasize more than anything else, he introduced one of the pillars, the additional pillars that had affected the behavior of the Shia throughout their history. And modern history, people would not understand. I mean, right now, as we know, the turbulent life of the people in the Middle East, they question why you are Shia, why you are defending Sunni in Gaza. They have no understanding or appreciation of the pillar of justice that Imam Ali had introduced. The love of justice and the upholding of the justice, that's what defines the Shiism more than anything else. In addition of his administrative policy, he was following in many ways the interpretation of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet. He was distributing the Bayt al-Mal, the treasury of the Islamic treasury, equally among people. And there's a lot of stories about his brother coming asking him for a favor and he wouldn't do it. You can contradict or oppose this to what Uthman used to do. Nepotism of Uthman, he was distributing money to his friends and his crony and his friends, where Imam Ali was distributing the treasury of the Muslim treasury among the people equally. Rule of force. Again, in here, I can give you a recent example, nowadays example. The Shia, they fight their war in a totally different way. They would not attack civilians. They would not attack women. They would not attack children. And those that are rules of force, they were established by Imam Ali. They would never destroy a tree. All those were instruction that were passed on to us from Imam Ali. In the final years, there were a lot of rebellions, and especially from Muawiyah. They were trying to challenge his authority, and the Muslim community did not respond in kind to Imam Ali. So he had a couple of events. The first time and the second time, he couldn't muster enough support from his own people to hold Muawiyah at place. And at the very end, he was assassinated. And nobody knows, well, there are a lot of different stories about where he was buried. Some of them, they said, is in Afghanistan, Mazar al-Sharif, or he might be buried in the Najaf, near Kufa. I'm not going to get into it because God only knows, but we believe in either one of those places. Descendant of Ali. Of course, the descendants were Lady Zainab, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, and his works actually, that's what I want to put more emphasis in here. There are a lot of ahadith that they were delivered by Imam Ali, and they were written later on, like Lahj al-Balagha was by Sharif al-Radi. It was compiled in 1015. And the book, it contains many sermons that are been taught actually and have contributed with their elegance to the Arabic language. Not only this, there is another book, Ghurur al-Hikam. Also, it's a book attributed to Imam Ali. There is another one that I have started this talk a few minutes ago, Mushaf Ali. But this codex is it doesn't exist because he agreed and he burned the book when he presented it to the Khulafa al-Rashidin, and he said, we're going to follow this book, forget about Mus'haf Ali. But there is another book, it's called Kitab Ali, and it might not be in existence anymore, and it's very similar to what we call the Kitab al-Jafr. And those that are written prediction of event that might take place in the future. But again in here, those that are the book that were left, not by Imam Ali, but they were compiled by his sermons. What he had, Imam Ali had a lot more contribution than his imama that lasted for a few years. But the Quran, as we know it, he, the one who decided how to read it and how to divide it. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he is regarded as the founder of Islamic theology and Islamic philosophy. In Shia Islam, the statement and practices of Ali are widely studied in Shia Islam that are viewed as the continuation of the prophetic teaching. However, I'm running. In Sufism, he's regarded as the inherited one from the Prophet Muhammad. His esoteric knowledge, nobody knows it except him. It's and saintly authority which guide believers on their journey toward God. This is the belief of the Sufism. In Sunni Islam also he's regarded very highly, and they try to minimize the difference between Imam Ali and the other three Khulafa. But Yawm Ghadir speaks loudly and clearly that they erred big time, and they deprived Imam Ali of his rightful right to be the successor of the Prophet. In Shia Islam, we know how we regard Imam Ali. In Alawism, this is another group. They have a lot of exaggeration, in my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but what I read about their belief, Alawism, they regard him much higher than being an imam. This group, they are located in North Syria, southeast of Turkey, mostly. This is a brief review of the history of the life of Imam Ali and his contribution and the legacy of Imam Ali. And before I leave, as I said, you cannot see the impact of the teaching of Imam Ali, in my opinion, than by studying the evolution of the community of the Shia in Lebanon. They have gone through a lot of period of it, but they adhere to their belief and their adherence to Shiism. And as I was saying early on, they represent the total population is 27% of around 5 million, the total population of Lebanon. This is the area in here, Baalbek area, Hermel area, which is in proximity to Syria, and Damascus is around this region, and Sayyida Zainab is located right in here, and if you go, Sayyida Ruqiyya is right here, and most of the fighting that's taking place in defense of the justice of the the Muslim people of Gaza is taking place right in this region in here. This is the Litani River that separates the different variant faction. This is the occupied Palestine in here, and this is the border of Lebanon. With this, my apology that I have taken more time than I was allowed, but I hope I made a clear story, a complete story that I will leave you with this presentation. I hope Brother Masoud will make it available to everybody. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Brother Mahmoud, for beautiful and insightful speeches. Now, as we are going to cut the cake, I want to ask all the Sunday school that they made presentation, if they come, please, and take a picture with the cake. And the brother is going to recite in the sheet while they are bringing the cake. So could we have all the Sunday school that made the presentation, they come meet this side so they can take a picture? Okay. Yeah. So that's okay.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, inshallah, it's going to be the last part of the program. And thank you so much for who would like me to do nasheed again, inshallah. And then we're going to cut the cake with the Unity Center kids, inshallah. صح ونادي يا علي يا علي صح ونادي يا علي لا عذب الله أمي إنها شربت حب الوصي وغذتني باللبن وكان لي والد يهوى أبا حسن فصرت من ذي وذاك أهوى أبا حسن صلوات. علي 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 يا علي 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 يا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي حب علي فوز الشيعي غدا فامدد لي يوم حسابي يدا وانقذني من نار جحيم وقد رمت شفيعا غير إمام الهدى إن صلاتي ثم صيامي إذا لم يشفع لي أيدر ضاعت سدى يشهد ربي إن بروحي له حبا دوما قلبي فيه شدا صهر الهادي أنت مرادي علي صهر الهادي أنت مرادي علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي الله علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 يا علي صلوات
Assalamu alaikum. Let's do dua faraj, then we have a dinner, inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعوا فيها طويلا. صلوات.